Okay. Hi all. Thank you very much. My name is Diego Mezen. I am in charge of America's department here in vNode Automation. Today we are going to teach about how to actually learn how to pull and store your industrial process data using vNode Automation. But of course, we're going to present about also the new features of the version 122 from vNode Automation platform IoT Gateway, and we have prepared also a demonstration about how we can process data coming in from Allen-Bradley controllers and publish it up to timescales database over Postgres. Okay. Um, First of all, actually, I'm gonna continue with the first part of the webinar. In this case, who are we actually? Um, we are a company actually called Vector Business right now that involves a couple of different solutions, including Matrix and OPC, vNode Automation, Advice, and Vector Industrial Training Center. Uh, those solutions we provide around the whole worldwide. We are located in different locations, really strategic right here from Vector Business. The first one should be in Spain, in Barcelona. Second one in Costa Rica, Central America. And then we have another office in France and United States. So right now, all of our customers right now are located in different parts of the world because we actually have a lot of verticals right now in order to place vNode solutions in different type of industries. And as you know, we are pretty much like a company that provides solutions since 70 years ago to multiple end customers and integrators in order to provide connectivity solutions for OPC connectivity solutions based on industrial protocols, Modbus, Siemens, DMP3, EIC 104, BACnet, so on, and IIoT, of course, including MQTT, API servers, API clients, and so on. And of course, we have solutions based on data visualization, such as in SCADAs. Okay, so based on that, as you may know, we are the vendor of the vNode Automation platform, and we have been driving a lot of things based on the new version 121, 122, I'm sorry. Okay, first of all, you need to know what is vNode in case you don't know right now. vNode is an industrial IIoT gateway that actually links the gap between OT environments and IT applications, cloud services, and so on. So it's pretty much like read data coming from multiple data sources over OT. We can get data coming from multiple controllers, vendors such as Siemens, such as Allen-Bradley, such as BACnet, such as Modbus, and so on. And then we can publish that data up to multiple applications or end-party applications, such as databases as SQL, Postgres, time series, MongoDB, API clients, API servers, MQTT brokers such as Amazon, Google Cloud, Azure IoT Hub, and so on. And then in the middle, we can process the data, we can treat the data, and we can send it back the all information already processed. Okay, so it is like a plug and play solutions right now. We have been creating different type of models based on the needs. The first part should be the data acquisition that allows you to get all the information coming from multiple data sources, as I already mentioned. The second part should be the data processing in order to process, treat the data. And the third part should be the data delivery, in which you will be publishing up the data up to any other application. Okay. There's like more than 50 models right now. Okay. So the main features actually right now that really differentiate vNode from the other solution is that it is pretty much out of the box solution, because right now it's a plug and play solution in which you don't need to program anything. Everything is already set up for you. That means that you just need only install the product in any single environment. As we are cross-platform right now, we support Windows, Linux, and environments like embedded environments right now. Okay. We have a couple of really differentiators right now that really fits in different environments and projects, such as integrated store and forward solution. That means that you will never lose data that will be publishing up to a third-party application, because vNode has its own buffer, and it will activate that buffer, enable buffer, when you stop losing data coming from the application, of course. So every single time data, stop losing between vNode and the end applications, which is a database. We enable the store and forward automatically, and then all the data will be bufferized under like a specific, like kind of specific database internally on vNode. All right. When the data and actually when the connection will retrieve again, all the information will actually will move up to the end application one by one with the same timestamp. Okay. And then we have the reverse connection option in order to provide cybersecurity to the end applications or the whole connectivity. That means that you can only open ports just in one single way in order to prevent actually attacks or malware or any single uniform intention of access to the whole network right now. All the configuration is web configuration based on HTML and JavaScript right now. And then there is no limiting tags, of course. Another thing actually that it really comes right now with a great option for you guys is that we involve right now the MCP connector for AI agents. So that means that right now we can connect vNode up to any single AI agent of the over MCP protocol. And then we can treat the data, we can process, we can make our own automated system based on AI, of course, like reports, KPIs, and so on. That's pretty much it right now. Okay, so the straightforward works like this. We are sending data coming from one vNode to another one in a database, and then the whole information is working well, really well. But what happened when the communications lost, actually? There's an intermittent, actually, we lost data. And then, of course, we stopped receiving data under the database. But what happened when the communication retrieves again? All the information will comes alive again to the end application. And of course, we never lose the data because the buffer collected all the time. That's pretty much good. And the second part, that should be the reverse connection that I already told you. That means that you only create just one single outbound port to the centralized environment. And then there's no inbound ports to the OT network. That's pretty much working like a DMZ. It's really secure right now based on TLS. Okay. And then, of course, the MCP environment, which it is the new model for the AI in vNode, it allows you to communicate to multiple agents over MCP protocols. That means that you can expose the whole information to your AI based on prompts, based on tools, based on resources. And then you can modify all the information. You can get all the information. You can process. You can create different environments based on the AI that will be collecting data coming from the end, actually from the plant data, OT. Okay. So right now we can connect vNode to Teams. We can connect vNode to Claude, Anthropic. We can connect vNode to ChatGPT. We can send data up to any other environment like Gemini or any other. And then based on that, you can start creating your own automations using NA8, using any other solutions like that. Okay, it's pretty good right now working with that too. And then we have different new models based on connectivity. The first one, that should be the IC104 protocol. Okay, and the IC104 protocol, based on the specification, allows that vNode will be publishing data up to 104 protocol over a slave environment. That means that every single data you are reading with vNode right now coming from Modbus DMP3, IC104, actually in this case, DMP3, Modbus, Siemens, whatever, you can convert it up to 104 specification and send and publish back to the substation environment. Okay. And then we have the other part that should be the Sparkplug house. In this case, vNode will act as a host of Sparkplug, reading data coming from Node Edge. And those data will be published data up to Sparkplug to vNode, and vNode will expose the whole information coming from those Node Edge over different protocols to the end applications too. And the last one, but really important right now, is the Ethernet IP client model. Actually, vNode comes right now with this model that allows you to communicate to multiple Allen-Bradley controllers for different type of controllers, including compact logics, micrologics, and so on. So right now we're compatible with the whole Allen-Bradley environments of the new ones, actually with the vNode Allen-Bradley Ethernet IP client. Okay. And then what about the storage or the new features in order to get data and publish it and then store it in different environments? We now include the communication to databases such as Timescale's DB, in this case from Postgres. Actually, you know what is TimescaleDB? Well, actually, it's a great database that actually comes from PostgreSQL, of course, that is designed only for time series data. It's pretty much like a streaming data, really, really useful when you are working with PLCs, with sensors, in IoT environments, in industrial environments, and then you need to actually store millions or billions of data in a really, really, really limited space, even of course too. And then those data, actually, that data you can access to it in a database um, with optimization queries, with the weight in order that they were stored right now. And then, of course, it allows you to enable the store and forward feature, as I already mentioned in the past, that every single data is already stored in timescales database from Postgres, actually. You can enable the store and forward feature in order to bufferize information when you lost the communication to the database with vNode. Okay, so timescales is a really, really good application for storage for different environments and projects right now, because it actually stored information in hypertables. That means that it will have different types of information in different hypertables, and then you can create an optimized query in order to get the data as soon as possible. And then you know that with the timescale, you can recover, then you can process, then you can treat the data. And of course, you can storage more than billions of data right now. Okay. And then, of course, it is compatible with multiple environments of the third party, like BIs, the data lakes, and Azure, and so on. And then you can link it back to AI with the MCP server, and so on. Okay. Based on the alarms that this new feature on vNode, actually, we create a new notifier. Actually, we updated our new notifier based on that we support webhooks in order to communicate with WhatsApp, Twilio, and so on, to get notification as soon as possible in different scenarios. Okay. Even if you are not located on the plan, even if you are not reading the information coming from the SCADA, you can receive the alarm right there in your WhatsApp. Okay. And then, of course, we create a dynamic and flexible configuration for alarms in order to create more specific the alarm or more specific alarms based on type and data types like a Boolean, numeric, or string tags. And of course, based on quality. That means that when you create like an alarm based on the quality, you create different condition in order to reduce false positives for the alarms. Instead of working off an alarm, you can create like an event, so on. Okay. Um, and then for the security part of the user access and so on for the platform, and you know that we already provide the LDAP protocol in order to communicate to Active Directory and use the Active Directory to manage vNode users. Right now, we implement the 2FA. That should be the multi-factor authentication. You can use Microsoft Authenticator in order to get the access. Of course, we increase our policies for security passwords, so on. And then there is an encryption based on that. Okay. Every single information is already encrypted based on TLS 1.3. Okay. And then actually, why I am explaining you guys all of these things right now. Okay, the first part that should be that why we need to upgrade right now the solution. If you are a vNode user or not, it's not a big deal for us. Actually, the first thing is that when you upgrade vNode, you can have access to the AI MCP server model. That's the first part. The new version comes with the model, okay? And that allows you to communicate to multiple AI agents and create your own automation things. The second part that should be that you will be expanding your connectivity to different new protocols that possibly you will be needing in the future. The first should be the 104 protocol. The second one should be the Sparkle host. And the most important right now is the Ethernet IP line protocol for Allen-Bradley controllers. And then the strength security with 2FA, that should be really good right now in order to provide to the IT the security that they will need, of course, and the LDAP protocol, of course, to link to the Active Directory too. And then we can manage high frequency time data series using timescales historian. Remember that the timescales DB from Postgres is part of the historian model of vNode. So right now you can log information on MongoDB in an internal, or even you can select the timescales if you have an external database timescales. Okay, so let's switch to the demonstration about how we can actually move data coming in from an Allen-Bradley controller right here this is pretty much a compact logics right now, and then we can publish the data up to timescales PostgreSQL. Okay. Remember that if you have any kind of question related to that, if you are looking for any solution regarding vNode, please let us know. We will be helping you through the chat, and of course, actually after the meeting, we will be placing our emails and so on, so you can contact us. All right. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to switch to the new demonstration. Just a second, all right? I'm going to change it back. I'm going to use back this. Okay, let me know when you see my screen again, please. Okay, thank you, Sergi. So the first part is that, of course, we need to have our vNode already installed. Remember that we can install vNode on Windows or Linux or even embedded devices right now. Okay. The second part that should need to cover up is that having like a time series or timescales database from Postgres. So right now, already installed actually my Postgres database right here, and then I enabled the plugin for timescales, of course. So first of all, in order to install the Postgres, you need to install the Postgres solution for installer right now, and then after that, you can enable the plugin for timescales. Okay. So the first part that should be in order to have the connectivity to the database right now. So these are the parameters of the connection through PostgreSQL that will be the same of connecting to timescales, of course. Okay. So there is the host name or address. Actually, there's a local host in the same machine. That's the port. Okay. And that's the Postgres username and the password, of course. We already create our own passwords. Okay. So having this, we go back to vNode. Remember that we open up vNode from a web browser, and then we type localhost and the port number from vNode. That should be 8003. It will prompt you to the web user interface right now. You type the user and password. That should be by default admin and vNode in lower cases for password, and then hit the login button. Okay. Then you go to the configuration pane right here, and then you go to modules right here. Then you go to module, and you can create a new module based on what you need to create. In this case, of course, we're going to create a new module called timescales or even historian. That's the one that I already created right here. Okay, just create a new model, give it a name. Okay, and when you give it a name, you select it from the dropdown which model you're going to use. In this case, we are going to use the historian model that allows you to communicate to Mongo and timescales database series. Okay. As I already created, it will appears right here in the models pane right here, down here. Okay, when I open up, let's start configuring. Okay, so the first part is select this, and you will be need to configure every single part right here. The first part is the store and forward that should be working as a disk, or even you can use a memory. The disk based on this, it works really well based on the capacity of the hardware in this case. Then we go through the memory buffer size. In this case, we can provide 2 gigabytes, 64 gigabytes, 32 gigabytes. It will depend actually on the RAM process, actually. The more you increase the gigabytes, the more you need to increase the RAM of the computer, okay? And then actually there's a purging for retention, of course. How many times we're gonna retain the information, 1 year, okay? And then you right here in the database data type, you need to create the external communication. Why? Because if you select embedded, vNode has its own MongoDB embedded historian. But if you are working with timescales, you need to select external, and then you type the whole information right here. Then you select the database that should be TimescaleDB, and then you type the IP address that we already have right here, and you type the port number of the communication, the host port, and then your username and the password, and that's it. Okay. There is authentication if you want it. There is TLS enabled for certificates, of course, too. You can enable and use it. Okay. And then when you do this, everything is set it up in order to start logging information. But how do I log information if I don't have the data source right now? So we need to create our data source in order to publish the data up to timescales. Okay. The second part should be go to modules again, create new module right here, give it a name, and select it from the drop down the model called Ethernet IP client. Okay, this one is it Ethernet IP client. Okay, when you select it, it will appear right here. I name it Allen-Bradley, and then the Allen-Bradley module appears right here. When you select it, you go to models, and from the 3 lines bottom, you can select create a new device. You can create as many devices as you have. If you have 50 PLCs from Allen-Bradley, you can create it right there. Okay, so give it a new name when you create a new device, and then you can select if it is a control logics PCC, a PLC5, SLC 500, which is pretty much old, Micrologics 800, Micrologics, and even Umbron NJA NX, which they use pretty much the same C protocol as the Allen-Bradley too. Okay, so we support this one too. Okay, so right now we selected as a control logics because it's the same family of the compact logics I've seen. We type the IP address from the controller, and then we type the port number for Allen-Bradley C protocol, and then the connection path will be the path for the CPU of the controller right now. That should be 1,0. Okay. When we do that, actually, we go to browser on the same module, and then this is pretty much useful right now, guys, because you don't need to type anything when you create the tags. All the tags will be created automatically. So you select from the device you already created, and well, it prompts you the whole information of the main program of the tags that the PLC has right now. So you go to global, you have all the information right now. You have to main program, you have another information right now. You have timers, you have any single information right now, you have it right in this. So as I don't want to type any single type of information, I just need to drag and drop the whole data. So I go and took a whole timer random folder it has a lot of tags right here, and drag it and drop over webinar folder right here that I already created on tags, on vNode tags. When I did this, all the information is already on their vNode right now. If you want to drag and drop the whole project, the whole tag tree, actually you can do it. Drag it and drop over any single environment, over single folder on vNode, okay? When we do this, actually we go to real time right here. You go to webinar random, and you see that we are reading data coming in real time for what? For Allen-Bradley controller. And right now vNode has the data. Okay, so having the data right now is our data source, and we already have the Postgres. Actually, we are going to provide the option in order to let tags from Allen-Bradley to publish up to PostgreSQL. How we do this? Actually, we go to, in this case, to the tags right now we are working in. Okay. Let's use this one. Okay, timer random. We go to the tags that we already are reading from Allen-Bradley. We go to history part. You see that all the information is already set it up right here. The device name, the register in Allen-Bradley, the data type, of course, and then we go to history environment, and we hit enable the history environment for the single tag configuration. And we go to module names, and we select the name of the module we already created for timescales. We created historian timescales database. You see that? This one, that should be the one that will be appearing right here, timescale historian. All of this information you need only to start logging information right there. So we replied everything, doing it by all the tags that we already are reading from Allen-Bradley. Okay. Once we have this, we need to test if we are logging data up to SQL, actually, in this case, to timescales. Okay. So how we do this? We open up our PG admin, which should be the administrator for the Postgres. Okay. And having this one, we go to Postgres right here, look for timescales right now. Actually, we can go to Postgres, of course, the schemas, and we go to public, you see? And then if you go to public, you see there's tables, and over tables, you see alarm history and tag IDs. Those are tables that are already created automatically by vNode timescales historian. Okay. If we are logging history data, of course, we can read data coming right here in this table. So all the data we are reading right now, we're supposed to read it right here. So we create a select, and then we retrieve the whole information. As you see, we got the tag name. That should be the whole name of the tag. You see that? Coming from Allen-Bradley. You see the timestamp, and of course, you see the value, okay? All this information is already logging in timescales right now. That means that this information, you can share it to any other third-party application, even including Grafana, including as working with, I don't know, like Amazon or even a data lake, or share it with any other application and so on. You can do it right now like this, okay? If you are working with alarms, of course, and you are logging in our alarms, of course, you can read it right here in this table, okay? So all the information is already structured in hypertables. You see that? So those hypertables contains all the information you need in order to get queries really faster and useful right now, okay? And it's pretty much reliable, okay? So this is pretty much part of the demonstration, okay? We create the whole solution, the whole environment in order to show you how to do this. Remember that if you want to do it by yourself, you can download vNode, of course, okay? And then you can start testing it because you have access, of course, to a trial license in order to start testing it, okay? Let me know when you're seeing my screen again. So after this demonstration, remember that we have a bonus today for you guys. You get a 3 days trial license right now, starting from now. Then you can scan the QR code, and then you can send it back an email to me, or really, you can book a meeting with me, guys. And then we will be helping you to an advice for your projects. Of course, design the best architecture you wanted for your project right now. You will be receiving a entry-level training and certificate right now, because we're going to place you on our platform for training. Of course, you are able to have a proof of concept based on your project needs, and a 30 days demo trial license for your project. Okay, so based on that, guys, if you are located in Canada or even in USA, we have our own distributor, FledgeTech Solutions, located in Alberta. And then we have our own integrator for that solutions if you want them to help you through any vNode configuration, services, installation, whatever. That should be wide room automation too. So every single time you need help, please contact me and I will drive to them, of course, too. Okay? Any questions so far? I'll be open
yes.
to have questions.
Hi, Diego.
No problem.
If
Hey, how
we
are
have
you?
some, we have some question from Mr. Nortag about the MT Connect way to connect this machine protocol with vNode. The question is,
okay.
yeah, do we support MT Connect as well for machine tool?
Not yet. Actually, we do not support MT Connect, not yet at this time. We can create a connection based on the scripting model from vNode. As vNode has its own scripting model right now, you can develop everything related to those connections. So we now support MQTT, of course, a Spark plugin and so on, but the MT Connect, it is not supported as an app module, but we can create a connection based on the scripting using JavaScript on vNode because it has its own compiler. So it's pretty much good to do it. If you want help, please let us know. We can help you.
I believe there's also an agent that you can that it's free for this MT Connect, and we can get the information via our OPC UA vNode module. So, Mr. We will contact you afterwards and try to study your case.
Yeah, for sure. We will.
Yeah. We have another question from Sergi. He wants to know, like, he knows vNode, but he wants to know if vNode is licensed by tax.
No, actually, vNode is not a license based on tax. Actually, it is unlimited on tax. It is licensed based on the modules you need per computer. So in a single computer, you need 2 models, like, I don't know, like reading data coming from Allen-Bradley Publish Up to Timescale, you need 2 models, and there is no restriction on tax or connectivity. That means that you can connect multiple databases, you can connect to multiple controllers with just one single controller. But I'm sorry, just one single license, and there is no tax limitation.
Is the license perpetual?
Yeah, the license is perpetual. It shows one down payment with 1 year support maintenance, and then you can uh, have an option in order to get more time for the maintenance, so on. But the license is perpetual, just one down payment.
Okay. There's another question that I got from the end customer's point of view. What is the real advantage of having native, for example, Ethernet IP and historian modules inside vNode instead of integrating separate tools?
Actually, it's really good. It's a really good question right now. And no one of us likes to have a Frankie in our systems right now. So having all the solutions really useful with the whole protocol support, with the whole straight connectivity in just one single environment, which allows you to have the whole solution in just one single site in order to have great troubleshooting, in order to have a unique solution, in order to start testing it and trying and providing or putting on production just one point of support, so on. And of course, we have the whole platform, um, like having the whole two models in just one single site in order to provide the whole solution to entire environment. So actually, instead of having a lot of or different solutions in different environments, we just have one in order to have support. Just we give support just one single environment. We can test, we can create, we can move data. It's pretty much seamless. That should be transparent for everyone, and that's it. That's pretty much.
This is also great for IT departments, no, to not having to maintain
Yeah,
lot of different software solutions to exchange data between the OT and the IT world, right?
yeah, that's it.
There's another thing that sometimes we get from our customers is what is better for industrial historizations, a traditional SQL database or TimescaleDB?
That depends on what you are gonna need to work with. Of course, traditional databases will be working as well as always. Is
Mhm.
really good working with that. The difference between one and another is that in this case, with the with the with the traditional databases, you need to ask or create queries really large, and
Mhm.
then you go one table by one table and looking for one information in a table and then look for another one and so on, instead of working with a time series database such as like timescales that has hyper tables for optimization of the queries, and then all the data is already organized and so on, and then you can log a lot of information based on millions of registers in just one single environment. It will depends on which type of data you are reading, which type of data you are going to log in. If for you it's really important to log information every single time in a real time, like the data changed in the controller, then now you need to read it right now in the database. It will depend on that, but it has different uses for these cases. Both are
Wow.
working really well.
Thank you very much, Diego. We're open to all our attendees for another question. Uh, Please use the chat. Uh, if not, we are very much happy that you joined this webinar. Of course, you have Diego's contact information, right? Also, if you are in USA and Canada, we also can help you redirect your request to Diego. And also we have our colleagues in for Middle East and Asia Pacific, and also Fernando for Europe. Um, you are very much invited. The next webinar will be about connecting OT data to SAP, which
Mhm.
is in a secure way. So, and also as a surprise, well, later this year, we will also hosting a very nice webinar about AA integration into vNode, right, Diego? Can you give us a little bit of what we can see?
Yeah, actually, yes, of course. We're gonna place a new webinar in order to show you how you can connect vNode and industrial data coming from vNode up to an Anthropic actually agent from Claude. And then we will be analyzing a substation environment, asking to the cloud how is our productivity, how is working with the power factor and so on, which type of recommendation they will give us to about the substation, if we can get like a report in PDF in order to send it back to our managers and so on. And we are working on the part of alarms in order to be notified by Teams or even to Slack and so on. So it should be really well, really, really good.
Great. So for my side, I think that's all for today. So see you at the next webinar.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you everyone for joining us.
Bye-bye.